can never not be beingness. You know, a lot of people they go through this whole thing, and they constantly switch back and forth, you know, from this identity of limitation to this identity of fullness. You know, we're saying, okay, well, here's my little me, here's my big me, here's my lower self, here's my higher self. And we do this out of an attempt to classify, to rationalize, to leverage the ego to make sense of what we are experiencing. And it's okay. It's not a problem. But ultimately, what I found is that it just creates this place of nonstop seeking and searching, right? As long as there is a higher self and there's a lower self, there's duality, there's ends, there's beginnings, there's limitation. There's limitation. And I don't think it can be hammered home enough that your only job here is to remember who you are, to remember who you are as much as you possibly can. And it's this place that brings you the liberation that you're looking for. Because when you're looking to manifest something, you're really looking to manifest a feeling. You're looking to experience a feeling. You're not necessarily looking to experience a thing in and of itself. You're looking to experience a feeling. And 99.99999% of the time, that feeling is satisfaction, it's joy, it's contentment, it's fulfillment. That is what we are looking for inside of our experiences. And when we come to the lucid awareness that we can not only generate those feelings without the experiences, but those feelings are our very being, everything changes, because now all of a sudden we're not trying to be more. We're actually trying to do less and remember more. Remember more. Sit in the awareness. Marinate in the awareness of being. Marinate in that space of awareness, of absolute awareness that is beyond realm one. If you've read Unified, you've seen that we've kind of split the levels of perception and awareness up to 4 different realms. And you can pick that up on Amazon if you haven't got a copy yet. Or if you've taken our Source Experience program, it's also inside of there. So, you know, this idea that we are separate from what we want is ultimately rooted in our misidentity as our body. The only reason we experience resistance is because we conclude separation. When there's no separation, there's no resistance, because there's oneness. And so naturally we find that the very things we fight about inside of ourselves and do not allow ourselves to come to solid conclusions on inside of ourselves, or the things that we do allow ourselves to come to solid conclusions on, but are what we don't like, is what manifests in our life. And it makes sense that you've got a bunch of people right now fighting each other over who's right, who's wrong, who's this, who's that. It's really irrelevant. It's really irrelevant. So many people want their problems to change by having everybody else conform to them, and will do literally whatever it takes to avoid working on themselves. We must work on ourselves. We must be the change we want to see. Why would we see change that is not occurring inside of ourselves? If we're always projecting, if we're always seeing not what is, but what we are, overlaid on what we think is, why would we ever see change outside of ourselves before we enact and experience that inside of ourselves? We wouldn't. And so many people want all these different things to change in their life, but they're unwilling to change themselves. They're unwilling to shift their fundamental self-definition for one reason and one reason alone. It's fear, which is, again, rooted in separation. And so we find that so many of our every ultimately every one of our fears is rooted in separation. This idea that we are separate from anything, whether it's what we want, whether it's what we don't want, whether it's, a person, place, thing, animal, whatever it is. This idea that we are separate is the root of all fear. And when we can come to really know ourselves to be the very source from which the universe comes to live and move and have its being in, that fear, for some of us, it is either eradicated completely in a moment of liberation, or it's eradicated over time as this awareness is marinated in. But I've never seen anybody truly integrate this awareness and experience lack, experience not enoughness, experience anything contrary to what they want to experience. And I think it's also super, super important to continue to come back to this place where you understand that you are not the body, you are beingness, you are consciousness, you are imagination, you are that which gives life to the body, but you are not the body itself. That is not your inherent identity. Your identity is beyond the body, beyond the universe, beyond the world, right? Beyond the space of the scene. You are the space from which the scene comes into being. And as we continue to relish in that awareness, in that declaration, in that fact, in that truth, in that refreshment, we find that all of our fear goes away, all of our anxiety goes away, all of our worry goes away. It all falls to the wayside because there's no fear in perfect love. And that is exactly what we are. We are that perfect love. And the more we realize this, we don't have to work on destroying limiting beliefs. They'll fall away all by themselves. The more we live in the awareness of our lovedness, the more the limiting beliefs will they will destroy themselves. Because they cannot stand. Darkness cannot stand in light, right? Hatred cannot stand in the face of love. Fear cannot stand in the face of love. And all of our limiting beliefs are based off of fear, which is a false identity. It's a false identity because it's rooted in a false paradigm of separation. And so your job here, if you've come here and you're looking to manifest what you want, if you're looking to do this and to do that with the law, your job here is to simply marinate in the awareness of your beingness, of your infinite nature. Because at that point, you do all the methods and the tips and the tricks that all the gurus tell you to do naturally. You'll do the feel it reals. You'll do the affirmations. You'll do all that stuff as a byproduct of already feeling like you are it. You won't do it to feel in order so that you can feel like you are. You'll do those things because you actually do feel like you are it. And so the more you can live from this space, the more you will cease to experience repetitive, unnecessary cycles. You'll be able to eradicate these cycles, but you're really going to be able to create a space of acceptance and self-realization for yourself that will truthfully be the most powerful revelation you'll ever have in your entire life. Self-realization is what we're all looking for. We just don't know it. We think we're looking for things, for people, for places to expand, to explore. What we're really doing is looking to know ourselves. It becomes a matter of flow. It's no longer about, let me try and do this, and that to get here. It's no longer about, okay, what steps do I need to do to manifest? It's no longer about, okay, what's next? It's, man, I'm so tremendously grateful that my life is happening the way it is. Everything is happening as it's supposed to. It's like all these feelings that you think you want, you get naturally as a result of living from this place. So you do this, everything changes forever.